grass grew high in the jungle, high enough to hide the two hunters that lurked low to the ground, carrying their huge backpacks on their backs. The taller of the two hunters whispered to the other, "Keep a sharp lookout for the rare Hugglepop Doozie."
Keep a sharp lookout for the rare Hugglepop Doozie.
The shorter hunter nodded and asked, "How do you catch a Hugglepop Doozie?" "How do you catch a Hugglepop Doozie?" "Well," the first hunter responded, taking off their backpacks and putting it on the ground next to their feet, "first you need to get out the map.
First you need to get out the map.
The map will outline areas where they might live."
The map will outline areas where they might live.
The hunter studied the map for a few seconds, pointing and poking in the map in areas they thought might be a good place to start looking for the doozies. Suddenly, the bushes started to shake and ruffle. The hunters jumped back and dropped the map on the ground. The taller of the two hunters, too terrified to be reasonable, jumped into the arms of the smaller hunter, screaming at the top of their lungs. Out of the bushes rolled a baby giraffe, who stood up shakily and started to cry. The taller hunter got off the smaller hunter. The smaller hunter asked the giraffe, "Why are you crying?" "Why are you crying?" The baby giraffe responded, "I'm being chased by a Hugglepop Doozie." "I'm being chased by a Hugglepop Doozie." "A Hugglepop Doozie," the hunters yelled together.
A Hugglepop Doozie?
"Yes," cried the scared baby giraffe, biting its nails nervously as it sat on a large boulder. The taller hunter shouted, "We've been looking for a Hugglepop Doozie. Where did you see it?"
We've been looking for a Hugglepop Doozie. Where did you see it?
The giraffe took a deep breath and said, "Go slightly beyond the Ring-a-Ding River Valley."
Go slightly beyond the Ring-a-Ding River Valley.
Find the mountain of Cliffer-Magoo and take a left. She likes to sunbathe in the grove of truffula trees. The hunters picked up their backpacks, tossing them over their shoulders, and headed out towards the Ring-a-Ding River Valley. Soon they came up to the rushing river, flowing fastly. "What do we do now?" asked the smaller of the two hunters. "What do we do now?" The taller of the two hunters dropped his backpack with a thud and dug through it, pulling out an inflatable raft and 2 oars. The two hunters picked up the raft and carried it to the river's edge. There, they dropped it gently and boarded backpacks and all. The hunters rowed the raft down the river, steering using the oars. The current of the river was slowly getting faster, so fast that the smaller hunter lost their oar and was taken away by the water. He waved to it as it quickly floated on its way without it. "Did you hear that?" asked the smaller hunter. "Did you hear that?" "Yeah," said the smaller hunter. "It sounds like..."
Yeah, it sounds like.
But before they could finish the thought, the inflatable raft, the two hunters, their backpacks, and their single oar all went over a huge waterfall. It was the smaller hunter who thought quickly as they were falling to grab his pack and pull out his extra parachute. He used it to safely float down the basin as the taller hunter and his backpack slammed hard into the water. Once on land, the hunters once again put on their backpacks and headed towards the mountain of Cliffer-Magoo. From far away, the mountain looked ridiculously big and intimidating, but as the hunters got closer, they realized it was more of a hump than a mountain. They threw their backpacks over the mountain and then jumped over. "Take a left," the small hunter instructed. "Take a left!" The hunters stopped dead in their tracks. Right in front of them, lying on the ground in the sun amongst a bunch of truffula trees, was the great Hugglepop Doozie. The hunter crouched down low behind the trees. The taller hunter whispered to the shorter hunter, "We need to get our guns out."
We need to get our guns out.
The smaller hunter nodded and reached into their backpack, pulling out a pack of gum. He handed it to the other hunter. The taller hunter looked at it and shook his head and tossed it over his shoulder. "I said gun," he whispered loudly.
I said gun.
The Hugglepop Doozie shifted and snored as it was almost awoken by the hunters. The smaller hunter reached into his bag once again and pulled out 2 guns. He handed one to the other hunter, who nodded and asked, "Ready? On the count of 3, we charge."
Ready? On the count of 3, we charge.
1, 2, 3.
3.
The hunter bolted from behind the truffula trees and bombarded the sleeping Hugglepop Doozie with a melee of ammo. The Hugglepop Doozie woke up and startled by the soft pellets that were hitting him in the face and body. The taller hunter stopped and examined his weapons before turning on his partner and saying, "These are marshmallow guns."
These are marshmallow guns.
"Marshmallows are not going to stun the Hugglepop Doozie. What were you thinking?"
Marshmallows aren't going to stun the Hugglepop Doozie. What were you thinking?
The smaller hunter laughed and said, "Well, I didn't want to hurt him, duh." "I didn't want to hurt him, duh." The hunters continued to fight and argue, standing there in the middle of the truffula trees. The Hugglepop Doozies stood up and approached the hunters. He got right up next to them and growled his fiercest growl and waved his arms around, trying to scare the hunters into leaving. Unfortunately, the hunters were too caught up arguing over the marshmallows. You know what? The taller hunter said, holding up his marshmallow gun to the smaller hunter.
You know what?
You better run.
You better run.
The taller hunter started shooting marshmallows to the smaller hunter, who grabbed his gun and his bag and started to run as fast as he could in the opposite direction. The Hugglepop Doozie watched in awe, shook his head in confusion, grabbed a handful of marshmallows off the ground, sat down against a trunk of the trees to snack and watch the action happen. He was rather enjoying the fight scene.